Outside the Beltway with John Fredericks. Talking to Americans outside of Washington, in the heartland, in our cities, and in our communities. About what matters to them. Outside the Beltway with John Fredericks starts now.
All right, joining us now, candidate Congress, Florida 23. That's the little guy, the little short guy. What's his name? George, I always forget.
Jared Moskowitz. Morning, John. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Moskowitz, libtard. You're gonna win this seat. You're gonna turn 23 red. You're a Navy submarine retired warfare officer, a Republican candidate for Congress in District 23. Give us your take on the Iranian situation.
Well, we had to act, as President Trump and Senator Rubio said. Iran is an imminent threat. They're building missiles. They're trying to develop a nuclear weapon. We've told them in no uncertain terms that they will never acquire a nuclear weapon, as it's an existential threat to us and our allies in the region. And sure enough, they're starting to attack basically everybody in the region now. So I fully support what President Trump is doing. This is an evil regime. They're responsible for thousands of American lives ever since the revolution 50 years ago. And something needs to change.
So I don't know if you heard my narrative earlier, but I believe that regime change is irrelevant to me. I don't care who runs the government. Let them figure it out. But the end game is they're irrelevant. They can't sell their oil. We blockade that. We open up the straits. They have no leadership. They have no military. They have no navy. They have no guns. They have no missiles. They have nothing. They can't back the Houthis. They can't send money to Hamas. They can't send money to Hezbollah. They're basically defanged and neutered. What is your view on that?
Well, I would say that I think the Iranian people want a better future for themselves. We've seen that in protests over the years, John. So we do hope that this will be the opportunity for some type of a regime change.
But it's up to them, right? I mean, it's up to them.
100%. Yes, it's 100% up to the Iranian people. They've shown through the protests that they do want something different. But you're absolutely correct. Our national security interest in this is Iran not acquiring a nuclear weapon, not putting their allies in the region, and not exporting global terrorism. You're absolutely correct. So if we can achieve that with the current group that's running things, then fine, then we'll do that. They haven't shown they're willing to do that over the last 50 years. So I think in the end, ultimately, there will be a regime change. But you're correct. Our interest in this is spread the attack the rest of the world.
George, let me ask you this. Let's get to politics. You're in a tough race.
Yep.
A very tough district. It's got a slight Democratic edge. You're going into midterms where the Republicans are not favored to do very well. We have a problem getting out early voters. Let's first get to your nomination. It's a pretty crowded field. How do you win? How do you get the nomination?
Well, I'm going to get the nomination because I've never lost an election, John. We've always outperformed the ticket. Again, we've never lost an election. I served in the state house for 8 years. I won a contested primary in my first election back in 2010. We have a very strong group of grassroots volunteers that we're going to have to mobilize. And so we do have a plan to win. I've got a lot of people who know us in the area because of all the years of service that I've done, not to mention, as you mentioned earlier, that I'm the only veteran in the race, the former submarine warfare officer.
All right, so you're the nominee. Is it I know I always ask you this. I cover so many states, I forget.
Yeah.
Is the nominating process a plurality, or do you have to get a certain percentage to avoid a runoff?
So in the primary, it is a plurality. So as long as we get the most number of votes, and so there is a crowded primary, as you mentioned, but I'd still say we're in the best position. It's mostly a Broward County seat. Boca Raton's an important part of it, but it is mostly Broward County. I was the chair of the Republican Party in Broward for several years. I represented this area of the state in the legislature for 8 years, and so we are I would say we're the strongest candidate going into this, and we have the best chance to unseat Jared. Again, this is the best opportunity in Florida to flip a seat red as we look to hold the U.S. House majority in the Congress this year.
How do you get along with Steve Stern?
Great. Steve's a good man. He just put on a really successful event yesterday at the Trump International Golf Course. Raised a lot of money for our local party, so he's doing his best along with the rest of our leadership, Chris Marino, Richard, Michelle. It was a fantastic event, and Steve is doing a great job. He's a big personality. It's amazing not just at his age, at any age, the things that he's able to do. I mean, it's almost like a full-time job for him being the vice chair of our party down here. But we're very grateful to Steve for everything he does.
He's larger than life, don't you
Very
agree?
much so. It's good
You
expression.
said big personality. I would attest to that. He's such a
I
great
see why
guy.
he's been so successful in life. He really he wrings every dollar out of out of an event, and he certainly did it here. But he's to be commended for getting a lot of volunteers, and again, he does it all basically just the goodness of his heart, because he wants to see conservative values prevail in our country. That's the same reason I know you do this show, John.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Okay, so you get the nomination. Give us a feel. Are the Republicans? What is when you look at Boca? Is that trending Republican? Are there more registered Republicans there than D's?
So the district's right. So the district's about 70% Broward County, which is Fort Lauderdale, Pompano, Deerfield, Parkland, and Coral Springs, and Coconut Creek, and then Boca is in Palm Beach County. It's about 30% of it. Boca, believe it or not, is slightly Republican now. The rest of the district is slightly Democrat, but it's trending Republican. Among other things, it's a very strong Jewish population who is understanding now who's supporting Israel, which party supports Israel, which party supports anti-discrimination efforts to fight anti-Semitism. It's the Republican Party. So a lot of Jewish people are seeing that the trends are much better in our district. And I would also say that the trends overall, DeSantis actually won the district by 1%. I mean, when people say, 4 years ago in the midterm, people say it's a Democratic district. Well, DeSantis won it by 1%. It was almost a tie with President Trump, and I've always outperformed the ticket. So I don't see it as a race that is a reach. I see it as it's a very winnable race, and we're in a good position, and we're going to run a strong election to win it.
I think you got a hell of a shot to win this thing. Moskowitz obviously is Jewish, and the last time he got a sizable part of the Jewish vote.
Right.
But I don't see it this time. I really don't. I mean, because the Democrats are boxed in with this thing, George, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Again, I think I always like to say Jared's a man without a party, although increasingly he seems to be taking a more liberal take. But when it comes to the Israel issue and supporting American Jewry, I agree he might be strong, but the party his party is very weak, and the Republican Party now has firmly taken the lead of protecting Jewish people in this country and supporting Israel strongly. And I'm 100% in support of Israel and what we're doing to protect them and to protect our nation and our allies in the area.
All right, so I'm going to bring in. We got a caller from Florida wants to talk to you.
Okay.
You've been in the state legislature. You're running for Congress. You take questions all the time.
Sure.
So my callers are always respectful. As Anthony in Florida, line one, you're on with George Moraitis, and he's a former Navy commander of a submarine. Go ahead, Anthony. Lieutenant, go ahead, Anthony.
Well, let's say as a former NCO and he's an officer, I'm required. Good morning, sir.
Well, I'm out of the Navy, so it sounds like so are you. So good morning, sir, to yourself.
Yeah, he's an officer and a gentleman, and I'm required to show him that respect. But I'm still a citizen. I'm still an American, and a voter. Sir, as a voter, as a citizen, I would much I am glad that you believe in what you believe in your stand, and I respect it. But what I also want is I want my politicians, our representatives, the people that are supposed to work for us, I want you to focus on us first. Not Israel, America first. I want the issues here in the United States fixed. I want it, like I said, I do not want my sons or grandsons fighting in wars for another nation. I want my state, my nation protected first. And I was also born in Hillsborough County, sir. So I'm also a former resident of Florida. So you know, I grew up on McDill. So I want my nation, I want my representatives to respect the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and to pay attention to domestic issues first. Respectfully, sir.
Sure, Anthony. What branch did you serve in?
Anthony, you there?
Say again?
What branch of the military did you serve in, Anthony?
Say again, sir?
What branch of the military did you serve in?
Army.
All right. Well, thank you for serving. I really appreciate it. Listen, I 100% agree with you. Just like President Trump, it's about make America great again, America first. I 100% agree with that. You know, the theme of the show this morning, John's asking questions about Israel or Iran, rather, because that's what's going on right now in the news. But absolutely, home affordability is a tremendous issue. It's one of the pillars of my campaign, protecting our God-given freedoms from enemies, foreign and domestic. That's a big theme as well. So I completely agree with you that we need to fix a lot of things that are broken in Washington. But right now, what's in the news is the conflict. So I have to agree with you that America is first, that our policies need to reflect that. I certainly don't support a long, drawn out ground combat. I don't support that for Iran, and that for the reasons you're saying. We both have been in the military. We both understand where the military can be effective and not effective. We've all seen it over the last 40, 50 years. So we can be effective, though, in bringing down an evil, stopping, like as John says, stopping an evil regime from acquiring a nuclear weapon, exporting global terrorism. That is a threat to our country. And even, yes, of course, we're also supporting Israel in it. But you're right, Israel is not more important than the United States of America. I completely agree with that. But they are an ally, as our Saudi Arabia, and there are vital national security interests in the region, not just for us, but for our allies. But I completely agree with you that protecting our nation, putting America first, reducing costs, making things more affordable in our country is definitely job number one.
All right, Anthony, thank you for the call. So George, your number one thing, we've got to win this seat, right? Because it's keeping control of the House is going to be critical. So we got to win this seat.
Yes.
I just want to be sure that the nominee, because this is a winnable seat, and I think Moskowitz is very vulnerable, especially with the Jewish vote there.
Absolutely.
Very, very vulnerable. So I just want to be sure that we've got the strongest candidate. I think you are. That's why.
Thank you, John.
We enjoy having you on.
You've been very supportive, John. I appreciate everything you're doing for the cause, particularly for the Republican and conservative cause. And this is a very winnable seat. I always tell people, if you hear nothing else, this is our best opportunity in Florida to pick up a seat. I've never lost an election. I've always outperformed the ticket. This is a great opportunity to pick up a seat and take out Jared Moskowitz and the liberal Democrats in our area.
I want winners.
Absolutely. So do I.
Winners, right? I'm tired of losers. I don't want to lose. This thing is going to be razor thin. Take one more call. Paul, Michigan, line 2. You're on with George Moraitis, who is running for Congress, Florida 23. Go ahead, Paul in Michigan.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, guys, and good luck in your race. I just wanted to say also real quick, John, you are a real patriot, which is what I say to you every single time I talk to you, and appreciate the hard work you do and your show. And my only comment is, we do want to focus on America first, and everybody is 100% behind that. But I do trust in President Trump that he feels that this is something that was needed to be done. So I hope that we can do it. I do see this strategy. I hope we can get in and get out of it as quick as possible. But the other aspect that gets lost in all this is we desperately need the kind of effort we put into these adventures around the world is the kind of effort we need in transforming our government, because the corruption in our government is so rampant and so bad that if it, I don't know how to fix it or if anybody can fix it, but we have criminals, as everybody knows, running around in our government, embedded, and between the NGOs and all the stealing of our funds and our taxes and everything are as big an issue as any issue in the world. And there's always this big, huge effort and all this expertise brought to bear on issues like Venezuela or Iran. But it just seems like we don't have any momentum domestically on the home front with our domestic enemies. That's my comment.
No, that's good, Paul. Go ahead, George.
All right, sure, Paul. Well, listen, thank you for the question. Thank you for the concern. Absolutely. I think sometimes people get overwhelmed by the scope of the problems we're facing, and they are certainly significant. But, every 2 years we have an election. We can turn over the entire U.S. House of Representatives and a third of the Senate every 2 years, and we get to vote. That's a blessing in this country that we have. So, to some extent, it's our fault as an electorate if we're not voting for people that are going to do the things you're saying, Paul. So that's one thing I would say. Secondly, a lot of these really big issues, the affordability crisis, that is going to require, I would say, more of a bipartisan approach to tackle some of those things. yes, we need to get as many Republicans as possible into the Congress, into the Senate. We want President Trump to be there, obviously. But at some point, to tackle some of these big issues, we are going to have to come together. A lot of these big programs that we think about, like Social Security, that was passed really with almost overwhelming numbers when it was passed. So we can do these things. We have to work together. I've always worked together, never retreated on my conservative values. But some of these problems you've talked about, particularly the affordability crisis, that is going to require people on both sides of the aisle sitting down under the leadership of President Trump. But again, we want it to be a conservative solution that rewards hard work and opportunity, not giveaways, because we were frankly running out of money to do that.
Well, job one is we need to keep the House. In order to do that, you have to win this seat. This is a flip, a pickup. Georgia, I just want to comment. You come on, there's no question. Everybody knows they come on my show. There's no questions. I mean, you just come on. You're running for Congress. You got to have the answers. And then, you're taking calls. I'm not getting texts from your staff saying you're out of time, right? So you're willing to talk to people in Florida and around the nation. And as a representative, hopefully, of the U.S. House, that's going to be an important element. So I respect that, George, and that's why we love having you on. And probably my endorsement of your candidate is imminent.
All right. Well, thank you, John. I would value your endorsement. I appreciate your callers. And again, iron sharpens iron, as they say. So it's good to have the questions. I enjoy the dialogue, and I really appreciate what you're doing, John. God bless you, and thank you for all you do for our cause. And so many ties as we get ready for another big election this year.
When is the primary?
August 18th is our primary.
Oh, I see a bus tour coming in Florida, right, dude.
Come on down.
It's coming. You, Byron Donalds. I mean, it's coming, baby.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.
George, people want to follow you on your campaign. Where do they go?
Yeah, thank you, John. Thank you for asking that. It's so my website is george4congress.com, and on X it's George R. Moraitis. And again, we're always looking for more volunteers and support. So we'd love to have your support. We're going to win this race, and I hope you can be with us.
George, thank you. Thank you for being with us today. Quick word from our sponsors. Todd Sheets, Chomping to the Bit is next.